evening, I'm Marcus Slush.
I'm Kim Webby.
Welcome to Newsnight, people. Coming up, the arcade game that's making the box office bucks in the United States. We preview the all-action computer wizardry of Mortal Kombat.
Rugby league's hot young stars swap the footy field for the fashion world as they tackle the Corbyn's catwalk.
And art or just kipping? The Sleeping Beauty furore that's giving art a wake-up call. First, though, Kim and the news.
Just days or even hours away from the big blast. Confirmation tonight from France that it will explode its nuclear bomb before the end of the week. Meanwhile, protest ships have vowed to ignore French warnings to keep out of disputed waters. And earlier, more activists were seized and arrested in a pre-dawn raid on Mururoa Atoll. Channel 9 with the latest.
The protest mission has new urgency tonight. Today, another Greenpeace incursion, 2 more inflatables with 4 activists seized. The latest haul tallied up at the French Military Communications Centre in Papeete.
They will be charged with what they have done.
The French believe they're winning the tactical battle, having now taken 2 ships, a yacht and 11 inflatables.
At this time, there are less than 10 boats in the waters, international waters around Mururoa.
But with the strongest signs yet that the first test is imminent, the protesters say they cannot give up now.
We do not intend to throw rubber dinghies at Mururoa or Fangataufa on a daily basis now, but we are prepared to interfere with these tests as they come along.
In the latest key development here this evening, the French-Polynesian President Gaston Floss has hinted in the broadest terms yet that the tests will begin this week, while the real battle swings back to the water, a depleted protest fleet up against French authorities convinced they have the situation under control and as committed as ever to the testing program.
Back home, a Napier suburb is tonight in shock after a toddler died in a freak car fire this afternoon. Police say they won't be able to pinpoint the cause of the blaze until tomorrow. Spiro Anastasiou has filed this report.
It had started as a routine call. The fire service believed it was a rubbish fire. What they found was a Bedford utility truck well alight. The extent of the tragedy only became known when the fire had been put out.
Shortly before 2 o'clock this afternoon, the fire department attended a fire at the rear of this address. Once the fire had been extinguished, they found the body of a young child in it.
The child was a 2-year-old boy. Such was the scene that the fire service had to return with specialised cutting equipment to remove his body. Police aren't treating the fire as suspicious. Investigations now are concentrating on exactly how the fire started and how the young boy came to be in the ute. Once the toddler's body was removed, investigations continued. Police are confident the fire was a tragic accident, but won't speculate on the cause till the vehicle's examined further and they have the results of the post-mortem. They expect to release the boy's name after speaking to the family again tomorrow morning.
To mountain mayhem now and a drawn-out rescue drama for a teenage schoolgirl. The 17-year-old tumbled 80 metres down Mount Taranaki and is tonight in hospital with possible spinal injuries. Lisa Manning has the story.
High winds and driving rain hampered rescuers trying to reach 17-year-old Melissa Farimond. She'd fallen about 80 metres down a gully, but the bad weather made it impossible for her to be airlifted off the mountain.
She says she tripped and was blowing at the same time and blustery wind, and it is very blustery up there.
She was taken to Taranaki Base Hospital with a broken arm and possible spinal injuries. The police say Melissa was with a party of students and teachers from Northcote College in Auckland. Less than 2 weeks ago, an Australian climber had a remarkable escape after sliding 1,000 metres down the mountain.
It's the people from outside that are ill-informed about Mount Egmont that are a problem as far as accidents and search and rescue goes.
Rescuers say the accidents highlight the need for visitors to keep off the mountain during bad conditions.
And in another drama, a sad mix-up and some red faces. 44 headstones were put in the wrong place 15 years ago. A city council's had to apologise to families who've discovered they've been visiting the wrong graves and worse. Ray Lamb reports.
Not forgotten by grieving families and friends. But now many people have learned they've been leaving flowers on the wrong graves. The mix-up happened back in the late 1970s when a Labour Department work scheme lifted about 40 headstones to pour one of these concrete berms. Unfortunately, the headstones were muddled up as they were replaced.
We are very sorry that that happened. They can't have been properly supervised, and it's happened, and that's all one can say.
Local funeral directors are also concerned that people who wanted to be buried with family members may have ended up sharing their graves with strangers. But the council says there's no double graves involved in the mix-up, and the headstones will now be moved to the right place.
Now to a first for Kiwi pet lovers. I won't be in today, my dog's sick. That's what you can now say if you're employed by communications giant AT&T. It's giving its staff paid days off to look after their sick pooch. One staff member has already taken up the offer, and it now seems the employer is about to become the dog's best friend. Finally, to something not so appealing, creepy crawlies. Swarms of them, all lured out by Australia's unusually hot winter weather. It's not great news for the human population. Spiders and snakes have sunk their venomous fangs into 40 people already. Sahai Tiffin reports.
Aggressive, fanged and lethal, the funnel-web spider has emerged early to enjoy the unusually warm weather, along with the other Australian nasties like the redback. It's already made life hell for 2-year-old James Coomer, who tried to play with one.
He brought it in to show me, and I quickly flicked it from his hand and I killed it straight away.
Screaming with pain, James was treated with antivenin and antihistamine in hospital. So far, at least 40 people have been treated for spider bites this season.
The spiders have been more active, and I think people are possibly not on their guard.
Sydney siders are also being warned to look out for snakes, stirring early out of semi-hibernation. 3 people have already been bitten. Wildlife Services answering half a dozen calls a day to remove snakes from backyards.
Scary stuff, that's the news.
Cheers, Kim. Hey, after the break, Mel Gibson's knees at the European premiere of his epic Braveheart, and 2 of rugby league stars discover hidden talents on the fashion catwalk.
Yeah, I was a bit too nervous, I think. But Jean, they reckon at the club they're starting to call him Al McNamu.
Really?
No, that's scoop. That's scoop.
The body?
That's the first time I've ever heard that, Sean.